Hey, we're live on Hoggs Vlog again, and welcome to Atal Baral, Sam Colgan. You're there, Gamer Adia. Thanks very much for that. Let me scroll down, see who else is there. Mrunal Saloniki. I hope I got that right. PC Tube, how you going? But anyway, what happened yesterday? Some exciting games. Sunrisers Hyderabad have shown that they've got a little bit of versatility and still hanging in there, and CSK. That would be the big surprise for me as well. So let's get straight into it. Roll the bumper, please, Shubs. Well, let's go to the first talking point, the Williamson factor. Now, Sunrisers Hyderabad yesterday just pulled out the changes. They dropped Munish Pandey. I could not believe that. I just thought that they need extra batting depth, and plus he's one of the prominent fielders as well. So I know he's got a slow strike rate, but he's hung in there for a number of years, and he does deliver at certain stages, and he does win you games off his own back. But they did bring in the big Kiwi, Kane Williamson, and gee whiz, did he add some solidarity in that middle order. The thing is, with this Sunrisers Hyderabad, I like it that they attack out the top with Warner and Bairstow. Both are very aggressive, and generally both come off. And generally, if one fails, the other one doesn't. So they continue that momentum. And then Williamson coming in the middle order, I just think it creates some stability. He's able to work the ball, run the ones and twos as well, and find the boundaries. I just reckon he should come in out 4, and you put Manish Pandey back in out 3. I just think that gives you a bit of better batting depth, but it's great to see Williamson back in there, and just great to see the Sunrisers Hyderabad, the way that they rotate their team and have just got so much depth in their Indian pace bowlers. Cool bowled well yesterday. So Sunrisers Hyderabad for me are looking the goods as we move on, because they're not just relying on Rashid Khan with the ball. The Indian bowlers are starting to pick up. The next point I want to talk about is the Indian talent in the IPL. Now, this young bloke that I'm going to mention first, Garkaward, I had his neck chopped off yesterday. I thought Uthappa was going to play in front of him, but the Chennai Super Kings have kept the faith in him. And the way that he annihilated Pat Cummins, the best bowler in the world, as they say, was just so exciting. It was a joy to watch, and that's coming from an Australian as well. And then he took him on as well, and he was the game changer of that match. Yes, du Plessis made a beautiful 90, but Gaikwad standing up was the difference between those two teams. That 10 that he took off, or those couple of boundaries off Cummins in that second over of the game, probably was the momentum shift, and KKR were surprised by that and couldn't fight back into the contest. The other one is Shahrukh Khan from the Punjab Kings. I'm really liking this guy. I saw him down out the Tamil Nadu Premier League. He was awesome down there. He's got the talent. He's starting to show a little bit of maturity. He's played a number of innings in this IPL under extreme pressure, and he's come up with the goods. It was only a small 22 yesterday, but they were in the Nua deeply, and they needed someone to stand up, and he was awesome. Now, the other guy that I was very impressed with was Abhishek Sharma yesterday with his left arm off spin. He put a lot of pressure on some experienced Punjab Kings batsmen out the top of the order, but the ball he got Hooter with, well, that was amazing. Not too many off spinners can bowl the back spinner, but he bowled the back spinner where he just brought it out the front of his hand like that, but he got the seam to come down like a proper leg spinner back spinner, and it skidded on, and Hooter had no answer. So well done to Abhishek Sharma. All right, let's get back into the other points that I've got here. Running between wickets, Kolkata Knight Riders yesterday lost the game in the end because they don't know how to run between the wickets. Chakravarti, what are you doing? You're number 10 on the list. Pat Cummins is absolutely taking the bowling attack to pieces, and you're stumbling, you're stuttering, you're not looking for the 2. You've got to get out of the blocks. and get back as quick as you can. You can't stutter when you've got a batsman in full flow out the other end when you're needing more than 15 and over. And the same with Prasid too, coming in out number 11. You knew that Pat Cummins was looking for the 2. You didn't take it. And then we go to the other game, Punjab Kings 11 against the Sunrisers Hyderabad, another big run out. The contest I was looking for was Paran against Rashid Khan, and Paran running himself out, and we didn't see him face a ball against Rashid Khan, and that's where the Punjab Kings lost their game, and the Knight Riders lost their game because of the running between the wickets as well. There are other areas where the Knight Riders won it, but they got themselves back in the game. It's running between the wickets. Sort it out, guys. Okay, let's quickly go to the teams today before we get into the questions. Oh, I can't believe I've done that in 5 minutes. Brilliant stuff, Hoggy. Bangalore. Let's have a look out there, playing 11 tonight. Now, there's a bit of talk that Finn from New Zealand might come in out number 3. I don't like that. I think they've got to continue with the top order that they've got there. I think they've done well, even though the 2 and 3 haven't really worked so well around Virat Kohli at this present stage. They need one of those players to really step up and take the opportunity by both hands. But you've got to keep with them, because you need some Indian talent to come through so that you can have variety in your squad downstairs. You've got to keep Glenn Maxwell out 4, AB de Villiers out 5, Jamieson, Sundar and Sams. You can mix and match them in that particular order, but I'd bring Sams in there because he gives you a big hitting ability out the end. There's a number of times with the Sydney Sixers where they were in trouble and he played some big cameo innings, so he can play the push around game, but he also, when he gets settled, he can really take it big as well. So I would have him in the team, and it just gives you other bowling options as well. And then you've got Harsha Patel. How good is he? He is the bee's knees. He's got to be in that Indian team at the end of this IPL, Siraj and Chahal. So that's my RCB 11. Let's go on to the Rajasthan Royals 11. Well, we'll miles not go down this team because they are in dire straits. Liam Livingstone has gone home. He can't handle the bubble. They've lost Stokes. Archer's not here. They just haven't got any depth at the moment, and really it's just a training session for opposition teams against this team at the moment for me. Now, I've got the same team as last time. I'm trying to fit young Anuj Rawat in this team. I haven't seen him open. I know he's a keeper. He's played some good innings in the under-19s. He looks the goods for me, but I want to put him in as opener or for Parag. I'm not sure, but you need Parag there for those extra overs as well. So they've got some headaches with the team, but they've got to get Anuj Rawat in that team, and Sanju Samson's got to get back to some consistency throughout the season. We just can't see a cameo here and then him drop off and then another cameo down the track. So he's got to start leading, and Miller's got to step up as well. I'm really enjoying the left arm pace attack, but I just think they're going to get absolutely hammered with the likes of Maxwell and AB de Villiers in this game. So Rajasthan Royals are going to win the game for me. All right, let's get into the matchups. I wanted to get Gopal in there because in that team because he's got a good record against AB de Villiers, but he got smashed in the first game. And we need batting depth, and we need some extra pace on this Mumbai wicket. So to get him in there with this balanced team is the tough one. And I'm really interested, as I said before, the left armers up against Maxwell and AB de Villiers. I just think Rajasthan Royals, I love you, but I think you're sending lambs to slaughter today. So RCB are going to win quite comfortably and cement their place out the top of the table. Okay, let's get into the questions, okay? I love my little 9-minute ramp. And yes, I've got another 10 minutes a game. Oh, Sammy Colgan, how are you going? Hello to everyone who's joining me. Hope there's people in America joining me and also India. Should Rajasthan bring Gopal back into the starting 11? Also, should Rajasthan bring Gopal back in? Look, I'd really want them to bring Gopal back in, but they need a bit of batting depth. Gopal hasn't had much of a hit this year. He didn't bowl too well in that early game. We're playing out Mumbai. Spin hasn't done too well on this wicket here at Mumbai. I can't see him fitting in this particular game unless you drop him for Tewatia. If you do that, well, then you slightly weaken the batting. So Gopal, I think he's going to miss out tonight, but they might have that gamble, put him in there, play him, and go with one less quick. But I wouldn't go with him tonight. Next question, please, Shubs. Let's rotate them. Cotter, how are you, mate? From North Carolina. How are you going over there, mate? Hope it's all well there. Everyone's safe in America. Do you think RR will miss Ben Stokes that much because did his bowling wasn't used and Miller is doing well? Butler opening as well. I think they always needed Butler to open, and with Ben Stokes playing, he had to bat down the lower order. I just can't understand why teams are playing players outside of roles that they don't do for their international teams. Why select them? Why select players to do a different role than what you want in your setup? That sort of annoys me. So they haven't really done that, or they weren't diligent in the selection table. With his bowling, he hardly bowled, but they've got Morris there as the all-rounder. And we remember Sangakkara stating at the start of the year that they weren't going to bowl Ben Stokes that much through the IPL because of his workload and the pressure that would be on his body. And I can't understand that as well. You're picking someone as an all-rounder for who's got good quality in both skills. Why wouldn't you utilise those both skills? Because you're investing a lot of money in him. But I don't think they're going to miss Ben Stokes that much because I don't think what he does with the ball makes a huge difference. And I think they really need someone like Miller down that lower order who's probably more consistent out the back end with his big hitting. Ben Stokes is a little bit inconsistent for me. Next question, please, Shubs. Mrudal Sabadi, how are you going? Never give up. What should RR bowlers' game plan be against Maxi, Virat and AB de Villiers? Well, against Virat Kohli, I just think they've got to try and get the ball to move away from him. He likes to play away from his body early on, and that might feed the slips. So that's how I'd bowl to Virat Kohli. If the ball's swinging in as well, so you just push a couple away, then bring it in and try and get him LBW because he really doesn't get that front foot way outside off stump. He plays from the crease and away from his body. So there's an opportunity for an LB or caught in first slip there. With Maxwell, depends what time of the game you're playing in. If you're bowling in the power play, you get 2 early wickets and the ball's still swinging, I'd be trying to just swing it in and wrap him on the pads. And then as it goes later on, you just try and vary up the pace, but also go for a Yorker as well. I don't think they've got the pace to have the bouncer, but it's just variations of pace and good Yorkers, whether out the toes or wide Yorkers as well. Don't allow him to get in a pattern where he can swing both ways. And AB de Villiers, at the moment, the way he batted the other day, I'm quite confident. I've got no idea where to bowl him at the moment. But again, it's just change the pace. Make sure you are clear with your decision making at the top of the mark. Try and hit him on the toes. He likes to have that scoop, so have a deep, fine leg. But if you're going to go wide as well, make sure you've got the fielders in place as well because he can move around the crease. If you've got mid-off up, he can sort of dance across and still hit it over mid-off. He's good enough with that. But set your field, back your skills. I'd have deep square, deep long on with the quicks and a deep fine leg trying to hit him on the toes, have my mid-wicket up, and then try and bamboozle him with a wider one and have my deep points out in place. And if he gets me over cover and mid-off, well, so be it. But the change of pace might cause him to sort of mishit it to those deep cover fielders. That's how I'd bowl to AB de Villiers. God, he's in form at the moment, and I love it when he's in form. And this is why RCB are the bee's knees at the moment, because of Maxi and AB de Villiers. Okay, next question. I could have put Virat there, but Virat's been scoring some runs, but not at a high strike rate. Namaste from Houston, Texas. How are you going, PC Tube? If you were CSK bowler today, what would have you done to stop Dre Russ, DK and Pat Cummins yesterday? Look, with the CSK bowling attack at the present moment, they don't have anyone with that extra pace that can bowl a searing Yorker, but I would have attempted to bowl a lot more Yorkers at his toes. I just thought they telegraphed it a little bit too much, that especially Tarkor, that they were going to go across him or bowl wide. And when you telegraph it to Andre Russell, he lines you up. When he's a little bit confused where you're bowling because you've got a couple of different options where you can bowl, that's where he's not quite as potent. So for me, I thought they telegraphed it too much. They didn't bowl enough Yorkers to him. And that's the same with Pat Cummins. DK, he's just something special, and that's the type of stuff that I expect from DK. He got right on top of Jadeja. If I was looking at that particular partnership, DK should have probably just attacked Jadeja a little bit harder, and that would have taken a little bit of pressure off Andre Russell to against the quicks. That was the only bit of excuse, because DK is better against spin than Andre Russell, and Andre Russell's better against quicks than DK. That's the only thing. But more Yorkers. None of those two, both of those two teams didn't bowl enough Yorkers. PC Tube. Okay, next question, please, Shubs. Thank you very much. Saket Patel, how are you going? What has happened to Morgan? Sometimes it seems he is out of shots and throws his wicket away. And do you think Narayan should be promoted up the order, as there is no firepower in the top three? See, this is where it gets really interesting for KKR, is utilising Narayan and rotating him around different positions in that batting order. And sometimes that puts a few of the top order out of place, because they've got to play a slightly different role. And, there's a little bit of ego there as well, that you put Narayan in front of them, and all of a sudden they feel as though they're not doing their job. So it's a tough one with Narayan. Batting out three, you have to pick and choose who you're playing against. If the opposition have got an out-and-out genuine quick, I wouldn't have Narayan go in there. I'd save him to go out there and really just take on the spinners. And if it comes off, it comes off. If he throws his wicket away, he throws his wicket away. Let's get back to Morgan. That's probably more important. Morgan's out of form at the moment. There's no doubt about that. Watching him last night, he's just getting cramped for room out the body. And I think a lot of bowlers are going to start attacking him out the body and cramping for room when he comes out to the crease. He doesn't look as though he can rotate the strike at the moment. And when a batsman of that caliber is not getting off strike, that tells me that he is way out of sorts. And plus his footwork, when the bowlers went a little wider to him after cramping him up for room, he wasn't getting across. So it tells me he's not picking up the ball early enough. And look, CSK don't have genuine out-and-out quicks, but they have bowlers that bowl around about that 135k mark, and you expect a batsman at that level to be a little bit more precise with his footwork, and it wasn't there. So KKR have got a lot of issues with their captain out of form, DK in form. Would they drop Morgan and bring DK in? That is the big question for Kolkata Knight Riders moving forward, because if Morgan doesn't perform in the next couple of games, they're going to have to think about swapping that particular position, because they're not getting enough from their top three, as you said there as well. So they've got a few headaches, Kolkata Knight Riders, with their top order. Good question there, Saket Patel. Okay, next question, Shubs. Gee whiz, this is going very quick. Crest, how are you going? Just came back from the beach to catch the stream. How are you, mate? Oh, mate, I hope the beach was good. I'm a little bit jealous not being able to get down to the beach in the mornings at the moment while the IPL's on. I'd love to go and have a bit of a surf. So you've just got a tear to my eye there. I hope it was beautiful, the water, and you're fresher for it. Not really a question for the game, but have you looked into commentary? I think you'd be fantastic. Look, I'd love to be able to do it. The only, if the opportunity comes, it comes. I like to be able to sit back and really do some analysis with the game. And you just brought up a point last night with this commentary comment. Alan last night was bowling to Bairstow, and he bowled some left arm off spinners that were wide. Bairstow got him for 4 early on, but it was wide, it was turning, it was on a good length, and Bairstow was struggling to get him away. And then one of the commentators said, he's got to bowl straighter. He's not going to get wickets this way. Well, that's fine. But if you've got the batsman under a little bit of pressure and he's not been able to get you away, you don't want to really do too much differently when the ball is bouncing and it's got a bit of zip on it, and Bairstow has to make the play. That last ball that he bowled in that second over, it was straighter, and that took away the spin because the angle coming around the wicket was going further down to leg side rather than straight, so the ball was coming across the wicket rather than straight, and that fights to get that grip back, especially as an off-spinner. Bairstow hitting for 6. So for me, sometimes you can overanalyse the game, and that 6 last night got the Sunrisers Hyderabad team in a bit of momentum, and then they got, I think, 8 or 10 off the next over from Shami, and the Punjab Kings couldn't fight back from that. So yeah, bringing up that commentary comment, I'd love to get on there and do some extra analysis. I prefer more work in the studio, where you can really look out the replays and really give some really good information back to you in the public as well, both on technique, tactics, and you really dive down onto players' performance as well, which could help with your game. Good question there, Crest. Thanks very much for that. All right. IPL organisers over there, get me on the commentary box, please. Austin DeCuna, how you going? Is Pat Cummins, the all-rounder, a big positive for Australia in T20 World Cup? What kind of approach should RCB play with in Mumbai? Can any of the bottom 4 teams qualify? Gee whiz. Look, Pat Cummins, I'd call him as a bowling all-rounder, but I'm not going to be relying on his batting 100% of the time. I think last night is just one of those cameos that Pat Cummins has. He had a period there where he was really handling the bat well for the Sydney Sixers in a Big Bash league, but I haven't seen that consistency from him since. And last night, I think the CSK boys bowled into his spots where he likes the ball to be delivered. They didn't really test him with the bounces because they don't have that pace, and they didn't bowl enough Yorkers to him. So I think he could have been found out there. RCB tonight, I think they'll go with the same approach. There's talk about Allen coming in. That's Hessen. Hessen's on the coaching staff there, and Hessen's got a little bit of bias for those New Zealand boys. But we've got Kadich there, who's from Sydney. I think he'll be trying to force Sams in there, and you have that extra bowling option and extra batting, big hitting out the death overs. So for me, I think they'll keep with their original top 3 and hope that Patekal comes off. I think Patekal's really going to shine tonight on this Mumbai wicket. Short boundaries, he can use his timing. Virat Kohli with his timing, ball coming on, I think he's going to make a big score. And then you've got the big hitters of Jamieson, Sundar and Sams to finish it off after the Maxwell and de Villiers onslaught. I think their bowling attack, they've just got to go with extra quicks and extra bowling options. And I think they'll just stick with Chahal and Sundar with their spinning options. I don't think you can open with a spinner on this wicket either. You've got to open with your quicks. If the ball's swinging, allow the quicks to get good use out of that swinging ball. That was another thing last night that KKR should have done. They went with their spinners too early. They didn't allow the quicks with that new ball to swing it. So that could have cost them a couple of opportunities last night. So RCB, when the ball stops swinging, that's when you go to the spinners. Open with your swing bowlers. And can any of the bottom 4 teams qualify? Well, I said the other day, if Punjab Kings lose last night, I'm going to write them off. Well, I'm writing them off now. The bottom 4 teams, well, Chennai Super Kings are up the top now. I would have put them in the bottom 4 teams at the start of the year. They've surprised me. Sunrisers Hyderabad at the moment are the team for me that to watch as they climb quickly up the ladder. Good question there, Austin. You put me on the back foot there with the ladder. Ayush Ranjan, how are you going, mate? Do you think that CSK's middle order is stronger due to the presence of Raina and Moen as compared to last year? Definitely. Raina was a big loss last year. And I think him in that middle order takes the pressure off. But the year before, with Reiner not there, Jadeja was the one who stood up. And Reiner makes a huge difference. And Moeen Ali last night, the way that he took on Narayan in that ultimate over, I think it was the fourth last over, he hit him for a 4-6 and then got out the next over, just shows his value in the team and also his off-spinning and his fielding. But that particular 2-over period was another game-changing moment. They had wickets in hand. He could have just pushed around and played for himself, but he put the team first, took the risk knowing that they had wickets in hand, and that's why you need someone like Moeen Ali in your IPL team, because he puts team first. And Reiner puts teams first as well, and it's good to see him back in the team. I really loved Suresh Raina, the way he played. Loved playing against him as well. He didn't like the flipper too much. But anyway, let's get away from that. I'm just glad that he's back and out full flight. Tanmoy Chakrabarti, how are you going? Birdwan Medical College, I hope you're studying hard there, because a few problems through the IPL. How big a problem mental fatigue is as Liam Livingstone flown away home when Rajasthan Royals were already down with no Stokes, no Archer? Can Rajasthan catch up? Your opinion? No, I don't think they've got enough Indian depth. They've what Rajasthan do a lot is try and play the money ball type game. We all know what the money ball game is look for particular players that are cheap on the market that could do a job. And I just think they've got too many of those in their list, and they rely too heavily on the overseas players. And as you're losing depth, there's less options to manipulate your team to change the team balance with less overseas players. So for me, I think Rajasthan Royals are in a lot of trouble right now. I can't see them coming off the bottom of the ladder, and it's disappointing. And it's sad to say, but I don't like writing teams off so early in the year. Rajasthan Royals, they're in huge trouble. But anyway, see me for the next episode. That will be tomorrow morning. And let's see how the game goes tonight. Rajasthan Royals against RCB. I think RCB are going to be on top of the ladder when we talk again tomorrow morning. Join me on Twitter at Brad_Hogg and Instagram at Brad_Hogg as well. Have a good day. Namaste. And now you can go back down to the beach, some of you guys that were down there, and the rest of you guys can get on with your day. Thanks, guys.